Hello everyone! A big welcome to this year's half-yearly edition of the online Sociology magazine. We all live in an age now where the use of social media has become a norm, even a necessity. We can all attest to that fact. Well, social media is used by everyone around the world. But the age group most commonly associated with such are the teens. That is, people aged 13 to 19. I, myself as a teen, can wholeheartedly attest to this being a reality in our current age. Social media, in truth, is a large part of our lives and we cannot escape that fact. However, like all things that are so very common and regular in our lives, there are pros and cons to this as well. That is the topic of discussion in this edition of the online Sociology magazine. Like all things in life, we should not overutilize something, even if it's good. Overutilization leads to a good thing becoming a bad thing in due course of time. This is exactly the cause of concern for teens using social media. How much is too much? How much is healthy? How much to use it?
Social media has hundreds of apps nowadays, but the most prominent ones include the likes of YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, Twitter, Snapchat, and the most recent addition to this long line of apps named Threads. The Meta Corporation, led by Mark Zuckerberg, is the leading manufacturer of social media applications. However, it has faced severe allegations of data theft, which has massively raised suspicions towards Meta applications and has disreputed the company. All these apps are used by teens all over the world for countless hours. This is when negatives are seen. They become very much introverted as they only talk to people by chats via social media apps. These leads to severe reclusiveness developing in the teen, which hampered their social skill tremendously. Another massive downside of using social media to a severe degree is the addiction that develops to it. Teens especially get glued to their devices and keep on scrolling through the social media sites even when they are not finding anything that interests them. This phenomenon is termed as passive scrolling, which, as per several studies, has a very bad influence on the human brain and has been known to decrease attention span of an individual.
Social media apps have also been known to steal data from their users, which has put the personal details of that said user like their health data and bank details at tremendous risk. This has led to a massive amount of loss for some people. Younger teens are especially susceptible to this as they are often lured to share their parents' details for some special access and perks, most of the time in ads which are advertised in these platforms. Introduction of short videos in various social media platforms like Instagram, Facebook and YouTube has had a bad effect on human psyche, especially of teens, as these videos are very much addicting and are also responsible for shortening attention span of the individuals, which has resulted in teens not being able to focus on things like a book which requires a lot of attention to properly read and understand. Another major aspect of social media which is severely negative is cyberbullying. This is done in various different ways, in which the two most common ways are leaving mean and vile comments on someone's post which criticize their looks or behavior or status or any other such things that is irrelevant to the post and is deeply sentimental and personal to the individual who posted it. The other way in which cyberbullying takes place is via edited pictures and videos which are made without consent of the person whom they are concerned with. Creation of fake profiles is also a major way of cyberbullying. These various ways of cyberbullying has terrible impact on the psyche of the teen, who became very much insecure about themselves, which they already are due to the nature of puberty. This is often leads to the depression and sometimes even leads to suicide.
All being said, it is also important for us to remember that all in social media is not bad, and we can also adopt certain measures by which our online identity might be safer. Social media has led to a new wave of relations between humans, where people from faraway places can connect with one another. This has led to a more globalized society. Social media platforms are also responsible for several news updates, which are perhaps glossed over by the traditional forms of media. This in turn raises concern for the said issues, and the public is able to express their views against the matter directly, instead of having to go through an intermediate source. This leads to public empowerment, which is a hallmark of democracy. Another benefit of social media is that communities are formed, especially among teens, which have like-minded people in it, and this leads to the improvement of the creative abilities of the teens, as they are able to share their skill with people who are very much interested in their talents. This leads to a sense of inclusivity.
Now that the positives and negatives have been talked about, we ought to talk about some methods by which teens can save their mental health and online identities. Firstly, teens have to understand that everything that they do isn't to be posted on social media. Not everything they do is to be seen by the world. This leads to a far safer existence on social media, as hackers might have less data to go through to properly utilize against you. Secondly, teens should go for private accounts instead of public ones, as then they can monitor who can see their posts and who can't. They should also be mindful as to who they accept to be their follower and who they don't. Thirdly, a fixed time on social media is a must for teens. This has tremendous benefits as it helps to develop concentration in teens and helps to prevent an addiction being developed to social media. Passive scrolling is to be avoided as much as possible. Fourthly, teens should try and read more books to develop their concentration. This will have tremendous benefits in the long run as they will be able to focus on their studies more accurately and also on their work once they become an adult. Lastly, more traditional forms of media like newspapers should be given a chance by the teens, and they should also learn to not believe whatever is being shown on social media, as a lot of times they are fake. They have to learn to verify the data to properly get what the news is.
So, in conclusion, we can say that social media has had a very prevalent impact on society and how it interacts. Teens are the most prominent user of these platforms, and thus they need to be assured of what they do on these social media sites. Teenage years are the most crucial stage in the development of a human being, and thus we need to be very careful as to what habits we develop, as these form the basis of our personalities as adults. Thus, we need to be very careful about using social media, as though it has several benefits. It also has severe harms of which one needs to be very careful about. A big thank you for staying with us till now. We sincerely hope that you have enjoyed this edition of this online Sociology magazine. We are hopeful that you have learned something valuable from this magazine. And once more, Thanks for watching.